Hello, thank you for joining me. The sun is behind the clouds, so I've been able to shed the sunglasses. I'm still squinting a bit, so excuse any sort of strange looks, stranger than usual. I want to talk about problem solving. Some people are really good at it and others really don't like it. I have to admit, I enjoy a challenge of a problem to solve, but I'm not quite sure how I go about it. Depends on the problem. Some people like working from a big picture down, and others like working from a little bit of detail up to the bigger picture. And some like working backwards from where they see the finish being, or forwards from where they are present. Which for me, sorry, I'm just watching a couple of sparrows having a little scrap. For me, that's often surrounded by tools, thinking, have I got the right ones here? Is this drill working? Oh, where's the extension cable? Where's this? I'm not very good with my tools, I have to admit. So I need to be better prepared. But then again, is it all eventualities preparation? A bit like setting out for a walk with an umbrella, your wellies on, a Mac, sunglasses, snowshoes even. No, it's thinking ahead and planning ahead. And the weather usually doesn't matter, so long as it's not a job on the roof or something. But you need to be prepared for thinking out of that box, for what is now called blue sky thinking, isn't it? And sometimes you can feel as if you are just with a little machete fighting your way through the jungle, battling on with perspiration dripping down. And other times you are on the top of oh, hello, Percy. Everybody's joining in today. On top of a sand dune. And when you got to the top, all you could see were more and more sand dunes ahead. Or maybe in the middle of a big city that you don't have a map for and that you don't know. But everybody else, of course, seems to know exactly where they're going, exactly what they're doing. But how do you go about it? I am not going to say anything gender specific here. Are you someone who will meticulously read the instructions, lay out the parts, especially if it's something like flat pack furniture, lay them all out, make sure you've got everything, make sure that they're in sort of some order before you start assembling? Or do you just get stuck in assemble and hope that you've got all the right bits? I have to say I lean towards the former. I do like to gather things so that I know where they are. And I think the worst one I ever did was when we lived in Lincolnshire, and I had a flat pack wardrobe, desk and cupboard unit delivered that was flat packed, and I had to get it up 2 flights of stairs. So the only way I could do that was to undo it and take it up piece by piece almost, and then assemble it. And it's amazing what parts of the body you can use for this. I'd have bits leaning against the wall. I would have bits supported by my elbow, my forehead whilst I bent down to fix something. Yes, one can become very adaptable because, of course, there was nobody else around to help. An extra pair of hands really does help. But it's not always the case, is it? So some people, they just go straight head on. But you've got to be prepared that unless it's something with instructions and something like flat pack furniture, there might be ways that you have to zigzag. You might have to take a different route. And you could end up with 3 or 4 pieces short, 3 or 4 pieces left over. I envy those people who see a job straight through and work it straight through. How do they get the mind like that? Could you tell me if you know, please? Because I would really like to acquire that skill. It would be great. But where there's a will, there's a way. And necessity is the mother of invention. Any more that I can say? No. But being a post-war baby, we had to make do and mend. I can remember my dad buying pieces of really thick leather and cutting out soles and heels for shoes and putting on little metal bits at the end of the heels so you clunked and made a heck of a noise at first until you gradually lost them. Then he would, I still have the last that he used to use. He would glue them and seal them and hope that they would be waterproof and last a bit longer. They usually did. The only problem was that I was young and my feet were growing, so unless the shoes developed into peep toes, it could be a bit difficult. Clothes were bought to grow into, so sleeves were long, hems were turned up, but difficult with shoes, because if you get them too big, you're shuffling and you're likely to trip or likely to have a mishap. So I've rambled a little bit there. Have a think. How do you tackle a problem? Are you one of life's problem solvers? Has your life been one that's gone very smoothly? And is that a good thing? Because if you're then later facing a problem, have you got the skills to do that? Or do you just get somebody in to help? That seems for many to be the best solution. On that note, thank you so much for joining me, and take care. I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now. Bye.